This video demonstrates creating and editing image buttons in MediaShow. Once you have a button set loaded, if you want to create an image button, you would first select Edit and then an empty button in your button set. Here I'll select button 1, and then I'll choose the Image Media button under Edit. Takes me to my Media folder by default, and here I'll choose an Earth image as a sample. You can see the Earth image has loaded into the display screen, which is behind my MediaShow Pro interface. And what I want to talk to you now are the config options, which are available only in editing mode. The first is zoom. What you'll want to do is set a zoom point. By default, the zoom point is the image center. This simply means that by zooming the image, it will go in and out from the center of the image. There's several other options. You can fit to window, which puts the image at the maximum size to fit in the display window. You can fill window X, filling the full width, or fill window Y, filling the full height. You can also zoom from, say, window left. Here you can see that the window is then locked to the left of the screen and zooms in and out in that regard. Window right, top, bottom are also available, as is window center. But in general, image center is the one that most will choose. Then you have minimum and maximum zoom sliders, where you can set the range that the image will zoom during playback. So once you're not in editing mode anymore, these are the limits that the image will zoom once you're done editing. So by setting min to 50% and max to 300, as I've just done, you can see that my start is now limited from 50 to 300. And when I'm in playback mode, you'll see I'll be controlling it down here in the control section, and my controller is also limited now to 50% to 300%. You can also control how the image can be rotated. There's two settings for the rotate point, the image center and the window center. Image center is pretty self-explanatory. The image rotates based on the center of the image. If I were, for instance, though, to be locked to window left, I'll make it a little smaller to demonstrate. If I'm then set to window center and I do rotate, you'll notice that the image rotates around the center of the window and not the center of the image. Image center would simply rotate the Earth image in its current location as we would expect. But again, I'm going to change back to image center, and my rotate point, I'm going to leave it fully on 0 to 360 degrees. And that is all you can do as far as configuring an image file for a button. As you notice also when we're in editing, their icon is available to be set. So if we like the look of the image, this is merely for reference so you can see it better when you're in playback mode. Simply click Set Icon and it will use the version of the image as seen on the display screen to create an icon. You can also, if you want to, name the file, name the image button at this time. Otherwise, it will simply be this default Earth image.jpg. So I might call it Blue Planet. And now at this time, I'd probably want to save my changes. Notice the button is now called Blue Planet, and I probably want to save my set as well. Each time you save, it reloads the button that was currently active. So now we see that we had a start of 106%, our range is from 50 to 300, and our rotation is from 0 to 360. These are our playback controls once we've triggered this image button. We also have the option live during control to nudge the image if we wanted to. If we needed to scooch it around the screen, we could do so with these controls. The center one always returns it back to the middle, and you can even, if you wanted to, key in some numbers and shift the image around that way. So 100 pixels X and 100 pixels Y shifts it in that fashion, returning it again to the center where we started from our initial config options. One other thing to point out, zoom can be controlled in 10% increments with these buttons, either or with the slider. And if you hold down the control key, you have finer controls of 1% increments. Same can be said for rotation, 10 degrees, or again, holding down control, 1-degree increments. And lastly, the zoom percent and the rotation angle also act as pop-ups. So you can return to the start zoom quickly, or you can jump very quickly to say fill window X, or just full size, show the image as large as it can be shown. The full image, that is, not the largest you can zoom it, but the largest the image can be shown and still fit on the screen. And the rotation degrees also doubles as a pop-up, and you can jump in 30-degree increments very quickly without having to worry about trying to hit it right on the head with a slider. So that's the controls and the config settings for image buttons in MediaShow Pro.